Perfect, Dory.
Oh, Thomas.
Is it on automatic?
Should. Yeah, I can.
So do I have a volunteer for an induction? Or invocation? I can't see anybody out there. Thanks, Brother Joe, appreciate it.
Well, I didn't do it. Fix it.
Yeah, I think it did.
You know, when someone stands in front of it.
Oh my God, thanks for the new day and for the opportunities that lie ahead. We pray that you would make us aware of your presence, aware of the needs and concerns of one another, and joyful about the opportunities that we have to be lights and life in this world. Be with our meeting, all that goes on, these things we ask in your name.
You, sir. Do I have a volunteer for the Pledge of Allegiance and the four ways of us? Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Just for you guys. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Rotary four-way test of the things we think is saying and do. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Good morning, everyone. To start off, looking for you, Jim. Oh, there you go. Jimmy here has a few words of wisdom. Wisdom, yeah.
That, in the words of wisdom, our body was secure, but joined in Arizona. I didn't even want to send pictures back then, but anyway, two things. As y'all know, joint fabulous financial. One of the things going on is not only are they going to have local workers job, and aren't providing outlets that we're aware of. Yeah, that may still happen, but right now. So someone came to Hudson Job Search, my folder. You guys need the outlet. Really good. Just part of healthy. Of people, 8 to 11 at the Hudson City Hall. We got some local. It's going to be let's see, career advice, resume, interviewing, networking strategies, insights, and some local food establishment. Will be the issue we have is we don't have a list of who these employees are. Can't they won't give it out. So we don't know who employees are that live in Hudson or live from the surrounding area that work there and not work. So Mike asked that I talk to Rotary and best to get the word out about it, so. Send out an email. All of us. Take action. Okay, well, I'll send you the thing and you send it to us. The second thing is just about the speech contest. I think everybody sent around a list. The big volunteers in, there were 8 people for each of those days signed up. We don't need that many, but I'm going to reach out to other folks to see who want to do it on the day we have the finals here. So, thank you for those volunteers. I'll try to get the list for 5 in each school and 5 for that meeting on the Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. So the survey. For Terror of the Year case software. Email me if you have a nominee. All I've got is one email, 47 members. So again, both of those, because the different this year than it was prior year, the intent is to give those awards out to our gave rather than different. For Hudson and community recognizes who these recipients are. Just so shoot me an email, and then you guys can do it. So the rest of the stuff I'll do with that. I was starting the rest of the day when you start. So, Carla, you're going to do this. Thank you.
Good morning, Rotarians. I am very pleased this morning to announce Paul Herman, who is affiliated with Apollo Spire. I'm a raving fan, absolutely a raving fan. I moved here in the spring of 2015, and I was aware of Apollo Spire because of NPR. I had heard them perform, and I like their music. It's just kind of not you being anywhere it goes that way. So I went to 2 concerts in that spring all by myself. In the fall, I bought a season subscription. Well, the next year, I bought 2, and I started bringing people with me. Right now, we have a full car, and sometimes 2 cars of ladies that go to the Apollo Spire. And I'm finding that I'm not the only raving fan in this community. I've been to the galas. Everything they do is top notch. And last year, I'm so pleased to announce Music from the Western Reserve sponsored a subgroup of Apollo Spire, including Aaron Chu, who performed at the Hudson Library. So it was a way that we could reach out and share that enthusiasm for this group with the queer community. This is an amazing group, and they're still here in Northwest Ohio. Although they do provide the same concert series in Chicago now. So it's amazing to watch what has happened in the last 33 years. It's just simply wonderful. So without further ado, I'm going to let Paul from.
Thanks so much, Marilyn. I know some of you were probably holding me about Jeanette Sorrell this morning, but I have to say, after all the things she's done in her career, one of the things she no longer has to do is be somewhere at the morning. So, thank you all so much for having me. I'm the director of marketing and community for Apollo Spire. We've been for about 4 years now. Just to get a sense of who I'm talking to. How many of you are familiar with Apollo Spire? Fabulous. How many of you have been to a live concert? pretty much about the same people, so great, so I'm preaching to the choir a little bit here today. It's a little bit about our organization, so we got to talk about that. Apollo Fire is in sort of a in program title. We perform this relation statement. We perform on this field. Apollo Fire is in for on stage in the period. So unlike some early music groups, we're not just focused on baroque music, Bach, Handel, Vivaldi. We also do musical folk music from around the world. That was an addition to the series, but it is something that makes Apollo Fire very unique. The other part of our mission statement, passion period, has been a really core part of who this ensemble is. They perform in a way that is very dynamic and honestly brought me a new love of baroque music. I am a classical musician, actually have a music education degree, and my background is in both flute and organ, church organist on the side. But I really never loved baroque music until I got to hear Apollo Fire play it. So more on that in a little bit. So a little bit more about us. We were founded in Orpheus, Ohio in 1992 by our current artistic director, Jeanette Sorrell. She is our founder and has been guiding the ensemble ever since. We perform about 50 events per year. Most of those are still in Orpheus, Ohio. As I mentioned before, Marilyn mentioned we do have a series in Chicago now. We're also in New York City, across the world. I'll talk a little bit more about international. We do tour all over the world. We've been at the BBC Club in London, we've performed in Madrid, we've performed in Ireland, Carnegie Hall, of course. And now as the ensembles grow, we're about 25% local musicians and about 75% from other locations. So Apollo Fire performs on a project basis. We're doing about one concert a month, and for 1 week a month, we're convening a whole bunch of musicians from Northeast Ohio who are world class and coming from all across the globe. And as Marilyn mentioned, Alan Chu, he is based in Singapore, but now he is based 8 months a year in Northeast Ohio because of Apollo Fire. Also, as someone here who loves Northeast Ohio, I'm grateful that we get to do that. We are fairly nationally reputable too. We've got 20 million views on YouTube now. Won a Grammy Award in 2019, and we're following along. We actually were nominated for a second Grammy this year. Didn't win because the crossing is amazing, but we were grateful to be nominated. 14 Billboard bestsellers, and our CDs have been chosen the best of the field by the Sunday Times in London and BBC Magazine. Actually, in the time I've been with Apollo Fire, we were named one of the top 30 recordings of all time by BBC Music Magazine, which is pretty remarkable for an ensemble that was just founded 33 years ago. We're kind of punching in a league that includes organizations that are hundreds of years old and have this amazing reputation. So pretty grateful for that. And we're a very visual ensemble, so I did want to just show a few images. You can see down at the bottom left that we are a period instrument ensemble, so we are playing historic instruments, like what were performed in Bach's day or in Mozart's day. We have a chorus, which is something I found was quite unusual. Even our beloved orchestra is not just a professional chorus, but is a volunteer ensemble. So Apollo Fire has one of the only professional choruses in Northeast Ohio. And as we're finding is the Chicago series in Chicago as well. The pictures on the right are from touring units. So at the top right, that's Jeanette conducting the Philharmonic, which she has now been a repeat guest conductor there. Her guest conductor is actually taking probably years. The soloists there are all Apollo Fire artists. So when she goes guest conduct, she brings our people with her and gets another chance to activate from Ohio. On the bottom right, that is us performing at St. Martin's Field in London with a program called Exile and Brilliance that features the Jewish tradition as well as the African tradition. A couple highlights because they asked me to talk about the organization of music. So in the last 5 years, we've seen 34% growth in the total audience. Some of that is the Chicago series, some of that is an expansion project, excuse me, community survival. Some of that is the expansion of education and outreach programs, which is a personal beloved project of mine. We now are reaching over 20,000 people annually. Subscription series total attendance is up 44% in the last 5 years, which has resulted in a 55% increase in ticket revenue. So unlike many of our peers, the pandemic hit them really hard. It's been really tough for our organizations, especially people that work in live events. Obviously, the pandemic decimated those live events, but afterwards, it did take a while for these organizations to rebound. We did experience that, like our peer organizations that have gratefully picked up thanks to the support of our people, our communities. We had over 5,000 new attendees last year, which is pretty remarkable for the little orchestra. We've also been focusing on partnerships in the last few years. So we worked together with Global Freedom, the African Art Museum, which, by the way, I will not mention this in my talk about concerts later. But we are at the African Art Museum on Sunday, April 12th, performing a singing program. And we have kids and grandkids and upstairs or laying down concrete students. We're at the Museum of History, the Museum of Art, and the Lighthouse, the development collaboration. And we are planning our 7th and 8th international for both in 2026. So, big year for us. Because of the art, it's a little bit hard to express what it feels right now about watching them. I do want to play a little video, but this was recorded with the students in the bar, and this is a movie for Wellness Mercy. I'm going to play this book specifically because actually the end of all the handle of our legs. I said, I will do this because I've read a lot of times for 7 years, put them on the piano, I've heard kids play them on the recorder. They're overdone. I can't stand them. And then I heard a pulse fire. And what this ensemble does for this music that I consider trite and overheard, they are really focused on finding the emotion in the music. And so when they perform a lot of movement, so this is the summer, one of the summer show, and it's so it's been successfully out. He's experienced by Liz, I'll say his leadership awards for us. All right, so I wanted to talk about a couple of recent things that have been big initiatives for our organization beyond just really great performances on stage. Apollospire founded what we call the Community Access Initiative in 2017. So the drive to make something more affordable and accessible. And especially now more than ever, classical music audiences really have to evolve and stay relevant in our communities. So we started this program. It includes a bunch of ticket discounts. It includes free programming in communities, both in community venues and in schools. And we've now, thanks to a really banner year last year, we've now served over 50,000 people with that initiative since it's founding. So the picture on the right of the screen actually is our student performing with the Pulse Fire at that elementary school, so not too far from here. Really trying to find communities that are near places we are performing and have served both people that are in underserved urban areas as well as underserved rural areas. Personal experience, I grew up in rural Pennsylvania. There were just not a lot of arts experiences. And so, you know, Hudson is very rich in them. We're trying to identify places where people just don't have a chance to hear a lot of live music, especially kids. You can't expect to build an orchestra of the future if you've not inspired kids from a young age. You also have an award-winning program called the Mosaic Project. This is an initiative founded in 2020, and the goal is to make sure that the stage that we're presenting is reflective of the audiences that we're serving. So we are providing opportunity for classical music for people from historically underserved backgrounds. I would say Sonia Hedlund, who is the soprano soloist inside the screen here, she had a music education background, not a lot of performance opportunity for background when we started working with her. She has since gone on to debut with the New York Symphony, with the New York Philharmonic. She actually just performed with the Akron Symphony as well, but her career is just taking off, and we're really grateful because she is not just an incredible performer, she's one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I'm just glad that we have these type of initiatives because as everyone knows, classical music has work to do to overcome some really historic inequities. So, as I mentioned the Chicago series before, we launched the Chicago series in March of 2020. We had a performance as the governor was telling everyone that indoor events had shut down. We literally were on stage performing when that order came out. So the series got tabled for a little bit. We officially relaunched the series in the fall of 2021 when capacity restrictions were lifted. And it's been a really successful way for us to reach another community. Chicago did not have a period instrument orchestra of our size when we started performing there. They have a wonderful ensemble called Music of the World that performs historical music, but they do not share a lot of musicians with Chicago Symphony. And you don't have this approach to baroque music with the emotion and the mysticism. That's great. We can have different things in different spaces, and we found there are audiences for both. I always say a rising tide lifts all boats. We want people who are involved in classical music to experience a lot of classical music. There's really rich communities, and so we've gone to Chicago trying to support that. We're currently averaging 8 to 10 performances a year there, as opposed to earlier I mentioned about 50 in Northeast Ohio, and averaging about 3,000 tickets sold, which is expanding rapidly. We're at 68% from last year. There are no plans to move our headquarters to Chicago or anything like that, but we are grateful to kind of bring the story of what we're doing in Cleveland to another city. Last but not least on our initiatives is the Pulse Fire has been performing for 33 years in churches where we talk about being a very visual ensemble, and you can't see very much past row 6. So we are in the process of exploring what it would look like to build a Pulse Fire. We had explored renovating. There's a church in the University Circle in Cleveland that we had collaborated with and thought that was going to be a great home for us. When we ran this feasibility study on renovations, that quite a lot more extensive than we anticipated, especially because there was some water damage in that building. And you have had personal experience with water damage. I can say I have myself too as a homeowner. I know that those costs just continue to go up. And so I wouldn't say that plan is completely off the table, but it is on the order of many of dollars more than we anticipated. So there's a committee at the board level that is working on this project. And they right now are leading the production of building, which would be really exciting, a new community performance space in North really, we need halls that seat 400 to 600 people. And there are halls in Cleveland and Akron that seat thousands of people, and there are halls that seat 200 people. And we're not alone in arts organizations in Northeast Ohio who make use of a space like that. We've actually talked with other arts organizations that this would be a facility that might share office space for the number of arts organizations that need a home that are currently renting in some building in a corner somewhere. We'd like to provide a home solution for collaboration with other arts organizations. So right now it's still very much the feasibility study phase, but there is a committee that is working on both studying this, researching this, talking to people, and doing some early fundraising with the hope that we will eventually make this a reality. So I do want to talk about what's coming up because I am the director of marketing, so I'm rushed to be obligated to talk about upcoming performances. So the very next thing we're doing, and actually just under 2 weeks here, is performing Bach's B minor mass. But this is really a monumental work in the baroque repertoire. It does feature our chorus. It features orchestra. We have 6 soloists in this performance, all of which are from across the globe. They are a fantastic group. If you have any interest in sacred music, I highly encourage you to check it out. Also, if you have any interest in great music in general, I highly encourage you to check it out. We're in Cleveland and Akron, April 3rd, and then Chicago and Evanston, April 11th and 12th. This performance actually kicks off a whole month for us celebrating Bach. We're calling it the Bacchanalia Festival. We are, after these performances, also doing school and family programming, like the Akron Art Museum concert I mentioned earlier, as well as some Hudson restaurants. Everything is all being brought Bach. We have a young conductors workshop where people college students coming in across the country studying Jeanette and learn about her interpretation of Bach's works. She is really nationally recognized for her interpretation of her works. So that's all a really exciting project. But personally, even more exciting, some of you may have seen the Sonia concert last year. I was see a show of hands today, or you at that live concert, a couple people. So a well-inspired debut program last year called the Sonia. It was a subtitle of Voyage from the State of the Americas, and it was an exploration of Spanish composers all the way to Latin American composers, and what these people were doing during the World era, what types of music they were writing, and what types of performance styles were happening. Apparently the program was well received enough that the Casals Festival in Puerto Rico heard about us, and they contacted us and asked us to come perform in Puerto Rico. So we are performing in Puerto Rico the weekend of Memorial Day, May 31st and June 1st. So before we head there, we are doing local performances May 27th and 28th. 27th is in Bath, 28th is in Cleveland. We also head to Evanston and do one more performance of that. And then after that, we are on our way to Puerto Rico. Really, this is an important experience for Inspire, so it's a really exciting one. After that, we come back and do an all-instrumental version of the Inspire program, so taking some elements of music from both sides of the tour as well as new pieces, and that will be our annual countryside concert, which is our summer program. Those are June 4th through 8th, mostly at Old Arena in Kirkland, but also in Avon, country on the west side. This is my speaking. So you're getting a little advanced knowledge because we have not announced this yet, but I got permission to share with you today. We're in the process of finalizing a budget, and this announcement will go out around the time we do my mass concerts. But we have what I consider a really exciting season coming up next year. The season we're in right now had a lot of things that all started done in recent years. Next season has a lot of new things, so that's always exciting for me as a marketer to get to work on new projects. Early on, late summer, we are doing a program in August called Sing Match. This is a program of double concertos where musicians are kind of get sing off against each other. I've been told there will not be live dancers, although that was an early discussion. Maybe there will be live dancers. I don't think there will be live dancers, but We kick off our actual full season in October with Priscilla Dido at the Mass, which is just an amazing example of baroque opera. We're doing it not fully staged, but the performance will be off full. If you want the actual performance, it should be wonderful. They keep looking for venues where we have a balcony, because Jeanette wants some people up in balconies singing these programs. In November, we are bringing Mozart's Requiem back. He has not done this work in a long time, and it is monumental. The instrumentation and singers for this are just huge. And for us, when we're often working in small ensemble, this is a really amazing opportunity. We're pairing the Mozart Requiem with a newly proposed work that explores what else was happening in the world at the time of Mozart's Requiem. Those are very cool about that. So there will not be just the monumental work, but also a new premiere commission. Really excited about that. That's our return to Simon's Hall at Cleveland, as well as I probably shouldn't say this is confirmed, but as of right now, we're planning on being St. Frederick's in Akron. And in December, we're bringing back the Victoria's Christmas Vespers, which Paul started not performing live since 2015. This is a sacred work, but with a little bit of an Irish spin to it. So, Irish music, you won't hear Irish bar songs in this, but you will get a little bit of that flair. In January and in March next year, we're doing a program called Winter Sparks, which is just kind of, if you love Bach, Telemann, the kind of piece of Paul is known for, that is a really cool Paul program. March 2026, we're doing a program called The Palace of Versailles, which will be French music. We were trying to draft the marketing for this yesterday. We said, oh, it's going to be a foot-stomping good time, which is a joke that only baroque musicians get, because Louis, a very famous French composer who was featured in this program, famously he passed away because he was using a big stick to keep time for the orchestra, and he stuck the stick right in his foot, which at the time of not great medical care, that was actually what led to his vegetable infection and passing away. So we're not going to call it a foot stomping good time, but it's going to be a really energetic program. And there's your little tidbit of baroque history for the day. Weird, it's a while less back then. Moving on to April, we're doing a program that is going to be really meaningful for us, which is the return of Orpheus. This was actually the program we were doing in 2020 when the world shut down. Jerusalem is a program that explores the four quarters of Jerusalem. So earlier, there were four quarters of Jerusalem: a Jewish quarter, a Christian quarter, a Muslim quarter, and a Palestinian quarter. And we know that world events being as they are, this is an incredible tumultuous time. So we're exploring how you look at those issues through music. This will not be a political program, but it will embrace this community musically with all the rich history and tradition they bring. So really, hopefully a powerful program. And in June 26th, we come back to our countryside concerts, which that's a picture of us performing at Holden under our big giant tent. We don't know what the theme for that will be yet, but we do have some tentative dates. Last but not least, I'd be remiss if I didn't invite you all to the very next thing we're doing, May 18th at the Tudor Arts Hotel in Cleveland. Sheila's Club. We are doing our annual gala, which is performances from Paul's Fire, but also is our big fundraising event to fund all these initiatives and performances. So we'd love for any of you to join us. Tickets are going on sale here maybe as soon as today, from what I hear. So really exciting. And I think that is all for me talking at you. So I've been told that there may be questions, and I'd love to answer those. I think about Paul Aspire organizationally or musically or what we're doing. A lot of second weeks going on this organization, and I'm happy to talk about
Thank you.
been a kind of journey there too. So, right now we are using a few churches that we, for the Chicago Cultural Center for the first time this year, but we've been at downtown St. James Cathedral, at the Art Museum of Chicago, which has a beautiful hall that is really underutilized. We're up in Evanston at Large Chapel at St. Spain Open Charity and we'll be in Eagle River for Presbyterian Church, or First Presbyterian Church in Evanston. The B minor mass will also be at B minor mass is at St. James Cathedral downtown, and then Fourth Presbyterian up there. Yeah, Sonia is also a Music Institute of Chicago in Evanston, so we're out there pretty often. They have a converted church into performance hall.
Then my other question is, so in music, has a house fire discovered anything about the music that they do? How it might play differently.
Great question. Well, we're not the first to use period instruments necessarily, but it does inform the way we play, because generally performances or period instruments were less resonant, like they are a bit thinner sounding, which makes them really good at that intense contrapuntal, like very delicate music. We actually have to find good tones that accommodate that acoustically, because modern instruments have a bit over of the sound, so that lightness of timbre has affected the way we play these. I don't know if it's like any really groundbreaking discoveries, but it has important who we are in terms of the musical language we speak.
Interested in what your annual budget is.
Annual budget's up just a little over 3 million. As I said, we're working on our budget process right now, so this year is about 3.3. And our board is currently about 30. We're that number may be off by 1 or 2. But we also have an advisory board in Akron, and a advisory board in Chicago, as well as some other executive masters.
Question, is we putting some local jazz clubs and local events like relative?
Absolutely. So we have a series, it's familiar with called the Baroque Bistro series. This was founded actually because we wanted to collaborate with a local restaurant venue that was looking for performers and was in our neighborhood, and we wanted to work with them. But since it's been a way for us to do something a little bit non-traditional, we love doing that for music. So we're at Blue Jazz in downtown Akron on May 3rd in the evening, and then at Music Box Supper Club in Cleveland on May 4th for a brunch concert. And I would say we're always looking for new venues for that. The best organizations or the best agreements we've had for that have been where we can take the ticket revenue and the participating restaurant or venue will take all the drink revenue. Sometimes they want us to rent out a facility, and I have to say, $10,000 to rent out a restaurant and then trying to recoup that ticket cost. We just don't do it on those programs. So we're looking for partnerships there that would like have a group come in and play. We also do non-traditional programming there. So we've done Baroque jazz, we've done some folk music there. The program we're doing in May is Coffee Cantata, which was a comic, wouldn't call it an opera, it's a very short piece, it's not really sung in opera style, but it was a wonderful, this rebellious teenage girl who wants to drink coffee, and her dad thinks that she is just addicted to a terrible substance, and so he's trying to talk her out of her coffee addiction. It's a comic piece, but yeah, lots of fun, but always looking for new ideas in that area.
Sometimes it's
Absolutely. So we do for most of our performances an hour for our concert. We do 3 hours of talks. The one for the B minor mass coming up here is actually a Bach scholar, named Dr. Michael Harrison. We found these people a lot of times through the connections with the orchestra as we travel to programming. These are often scholars in the field, but just as often, as Marilyn mentioned, we have musicians because we feel like these talks are a chance for you to get a window into what we do. We are maybe, we aim to be a little bit less dry than just a talk. We often have people demonstrating aspects of performance technique or give you something hopefully new to learn about music that you can take away. But our artistic administrator, Nick Vogel, who's also a performing artist, is the person for the perfect part of the class. And given that Nick is just an outstanding musician, it's a fun connection. That's a good suggestion. Look into it. I think Marvel Web is probably one of the places where they will sort of those gather response. On Friday and Saturday night, the problem may be more turning over a table every hour than they would from us taking over the full week. But at the same time, that's a beautiful place. I haven't been the first one that I love.
All of our music. Listen to all of our great.
Oh,
And
Pandora doesn't have all sorry. So whenever Pulse Fire puts out a new recording, we basically send it everywhere. We work with a record company based in the UK called who's also a management company, and they put these recordings in the hands of everyone we possibly could get their hands up. But then Pandora is the one in charge of scheduling. So just like WCLD locally, your classical radio, they are scheduling, we can pitch them and say, feature this upcoming recording, this would be really exciting. You know, work locally with the classical public radio to do a 30 days of Pulse Fire for our 30th anniversary. Apparently they play so much more seasons for people up to be playing church instead of big things like I can think of that same recording again. But yeah, we really little control over more, but we try to do, there's just a much bigger company. Some person at Pandora is really doing their job.
Recently was a speaker again, talking about share just a little bit about it because he was fascinating.
Yes, I definitely can. And I'll try to keep it a little brief, but so Jeanette herself has a really interesting history. Beyond the story she shared with the Open Roundtable, one of the stories that's kind of legend for our organization is that when she was 26 years old and a young conductor, she was approached by the orchestra to audition for their associate conductor role. And when she auditioned, she was told that they didn't even bother to, they shouldn't even bother to see her audition because it wasn't ready for a woman conductor. Thankfully, some other people in the orchestra took her under their wing when they heard that, and we had some incredible support from artistic members of that organization who took her under her wing. She said, but I really want to do this founder for the orchestra. And they said, let's make that a reality. So that's how our organization was born. But personally herself, this is kind of a personal connection to the program of Jerusalem. About years ago, Jeanette was being followed. She found out her father really didn't know a lot of backstory about him. She believed that he was from Switzerland and the United States, but we don't know a lot about his father. He was Jewish young child. Did that only because it was so painful. So she uncovered the truth about his mother. She was are Jewish, and that they did research at the Holocaust Museum to find the history of her name broken down. Her original last name would have been Pollock. Sorrell was I would love to, that story that she told me at the roundtable was recorded, and I'm planning for you to look it up because it's a really moving story. She, always gave the bar, she has plans for the future to put that story into a musical program and talk about her father's journey and how he survived concentration camp, was taken to Switzerland. It's an incredible story, but she felt that's herself.
These are probably not important. Board meeting next Wednesday, this meeting, a foundation meeting, following Wednesday, which will be the 9th of April. There's a K-Love meeting this Friday, new foundation. Also, to remind all of our members, one bottle, out of roughly $2 per year for we are also scheduling the 25th of June for Jeanette Sorrell dinner, very places to be. And it's, I think the intent is to have 15 and times and specifics of how those will be. Next week, some of us will be in this room, some of us will be out in the back. Hudson EMS will be here, and Hudson Fire. I think Fire is here, EMS is there. We're going to learn some fire things. We're also going to learn and so we'll be talking about for me. Bring somebody with you. Then on the board, she will be being brought to scout. So it's 2 projects. Well, that seems far away. Here before you know it. Terry Workman is also collecting the $20 for the sold this last day. So rich people bought it, you carry $20. And then there's a district meeting on the 25th of April and the 26th. I think it's supposed to be blocked. It's at the Marriott in Beechwood on Harvard Avenue there. That's different things. So let's get to Rotary. Cole could help us by picking the winning ticket. Oh, huge. All right, the winning number is, let's see, 3237. All right, Jay. So the payout is $8. Jackpot is now $208. You can give a look first. And on that, let me get you some words. Take a block one out. That. Thanks. Was that an accident? There's another. Thomas Sullivan distributed tea samples in small little silk bags back in the early 1900s. And his customers dumped them in water to taste the tea that was in the bags, which was uncommon in the prior to 1840. Was filtered differently than tea bags. And they got so used to tea bags that that's where we get tea bag from today. Just this is the way he stored them so he could sell tea. And ultimately became the method for making tea down the road. But now we're much more. That's your conversation with this week. Everybody have a wonderful Wednesday. Really embrace the cold. We'll get warmer eventually. And we'll see everybody here next week again. Remember, we're going to be in 2 different areas next week. So see you then.